My name is Maceo Paisley. I am a dancer, artist, author, executive director of Citizens of Culture, and behavioral economist. If you're anything like me, you spend a lot of time and energy trying to figure out how you're going to get it all done. This is an issue I study in my work, and it's something I experience in my personal life. Time is something that causes us a lot of stress, so what I want to do is take a little bit of time to help you guys understand how to make time. First thing we have to do is realize that we're cultured to view this concept in a very mythological way. It's one of our greatest adversaries. We have this vision of an old man with a long beard chasing after us with a sickle, and when he catches us, we're done. And so this puts time as an adversary. But I want you to think of time instead as an older person with the sickle in front of you, carving a path into your future that is your ally. First thing we have to do to reframe our view on time is realize some simple things about it. The first thing is time is a construct. It's not a mythological figure that's chasing you. It's just the way the world is. It's a construct that helps us measure and observe change. It's really important because we are living beings and change is what we do. The other thing to realize is that the story about time is told by scientists. And these people, they sit in their labs and they use their tools and their measurements and they come up with stories to explain the universe. And time is a story, and it's told with the equation time equals distance over speed. And how we measure time is objective. Seconds, minutes, hours, days. It fits into discrete little blocks. It's very neat and tidy, but little blocks can cause a lot of stress because that's not really how our life works. So it's important for us to realize that it's made up by scientists. And we don't have to be scientists every day of our lives. We're human beings. And I want to help you rethink time by realizing that that's not really the way that we think about it as an equation. We have powers to defy physics, or at least to defy physicists, when we step out of time and say, oh, look, what a timeless beauty, that's freezing time. Or if we shrink time by saying, I don't have time for your games. Realizing the way we talk about time helps us understand the reality of the way we engage with time. And if we understand that reality, we can have a better sense of agency in our relationship with time, apply forward thinking to expand the amount of time that we're making decisions within, and not feel so rushed and so panicked. The other thing we have to realize is that scientists they're measuring distance as one of the areas, and speed, and that's where the definition of times comes from. But I'm not talking about moving from point A to point B when I'm talking about moving from being sad to being happy, or from having a foreign idea in my head and really becoming knowledgeable. Those are intellectual distance changes, and it's more about difference than difference. The same thing is true when I want to go from being broke to being rich. I don't necessarily have to go anywhere to do that. I just want to change the amount of money that's in my pocket. So I don't want to think about time as point A to point B. I want to think about it from going from where I was and who I was before to where I was and who I was after. So the three things to think about time in blocks is not to think about them in concrete blocks, but more like a block of clay that is in the hands of an artist. So these are the three steps for the art of time. The first one is know what's important. Focus on the change that you want to notice. You might want to become a therapist, and in order to become a therapist, you have to go to school for years and years, you have to get your hours, and then you have to take a really difficult test. But if you focus on what's important, you might realize that why you want to be a therapist is because you want to help people, and you want to care for people. And you don't have to wait years and years to help people and care for people. You can shrink time, walk out this door, and be a lending ear to a friend. Be kind to the people around you, and that can begin your lifelong journey as you move your way to your therapist, but you don't have to wait. And that brings me to my second point, which is pace yourself. Go at your own speed. Realize that we all have our own individual rhythm and pace, that we observe time objectively, but we experience time subjectively. So run your own race and realize it's a marathon, not a sprint. The third thing, of course, is a big one. It's work together. If I'm standing on this side of the room, I might be caught up in a rush trying to multitask, and on the other side of the room, there's a counterpart who is caught up in a rush trying to multitask. But if we realize that we're working towards a common goal, we are able to work together, and we can then delegate and share duties, and we also expand the amount of time that we actually have when we think about it from the standpoint of labor. We don't think about it as a single line, but we think of man hours. And the more people that we have working on a project, the more time we have to solve it. The last thing you can do is breathe. You've been doing it your whole life. You've been doing it the entire time you've been sitting here. Realize that your breath is your time regulator. You can adjust your pulse, calm your nerves, and it helps you do the three things that we just mentioned. Breathing will help you focus on what's important. It will help you to pace yourself and find your own rhythm, and it will calm you down and allow you to communicate what you really want to say to the people you're working with. So, if you would, spend 3 seconds with me and take a deep breath. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.